Throughout 2017, the National Cotton Council conveyed its views on numerous legislative, regulatory, and trade issues that could influence U.S. cotton industry members' ability to compete in the global marketplace. In the trade arena, the Council was very active in emphasizing the importance of exports and sound trade policy. The Council joined other agricultural organizations in support of various regulatory reform legislative measures and continued to vigorously manage regulatory issues with the potential for undermining U.S. cotton. In compliance with a Council-adopted resolution, a Cotton USA Sustainability Task Force was created. It set goals to build upon the strong environmental gains our industry has already achieved over the past 30 years. As part of the Rebuild Rural Coalition, the Council co-signed the letter to President Trump encouraging him to prioritize rebuilding rural America's infrastructure. Appreciation was given to Cotton Belt congressional members for their help in getting the cotton industry's key funding priorities included in Congress's Omnibus Appropriations Bill. Following the administration's release of its budget proposal, the Council issued a statement saying it was prepared to work closely with Congress to ensure that any budget and funding bills approved by Congress continue to provide the resources necessary for policies that promote a viable cotton industry, including an effective safety net in the 2018 Farm Bill. After the Council joined 23 other organizations on a letter to the House members urging their support for the Commodity End-Use Relief Act, the House passed the bill, which eventually was approved by the Senate. The Council and 15 other groups, including the National Council of Textile Organizations, sent a letter to the House Rules Committee opposing an amendment filed by Representative Mark Sanford to the National Defense Authorization Bill. The Council was among more than 600 groups from across the agricultural community, which sent a letter to Senators Pat Roberts and Debbie Stabenow, the chairman and ranking member of the Senate Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee, urging the committee to support and encourage an expeditious confirmation of Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue to be USDA Secretary. Early in the year, the Council joined more than 500 organizations on a letter to the leadership of both the House and Senate Budget Committees, as well as the Appropriations Committees, strongly urging them to reject calls for additional cuts to policies within the jurisdiction of the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry, or of the House Committee on Agriculture. After the White House released its skinny budget, which included a 21% cut to USDA discretionary spending compared to current funding, the Council joined other commodity groups on a letter to the leadership of the House and Senate Appropriations and Budget Committees, urging more budget resources for the next Farm Bill. The Council capitalized on opportunities to share its Farm Bill priorities at several congressional hearings.
Cotton is the only crop that does not have a long-term price or revenue protection in the Farm Bill.
In testimony presented at a hearing conducted by the House Agriculture Committee's Subcommittee on General Farm Commodities and Risk Management, Council Chairman Ronnie Lee told the subcommittee that the Council looks forward to the passage of a Farm Bill that effectively addresses the needs of all producers of all commodities in all regions.
It is imperative that the next Farm Bill bring back cotton to Title I so that producers are able to access the same complete set of risk management tools available to other crops.
Several Council leaders addressed a Farm Bill listening session conducted by House Agriculture Committee Chairman Mike Conaway at the University of Florida. Those included Matt Coley, a Vienna, Georgia producer and ginner, Sonny Davis, a Cottondale, Florida producer, Ben Evans, a Douglas, Georgia ginner, and Kent Fountain, a Surrency, Georgia ginner.
When we lost Title IX, we've eroded our equity and increased dramatically our debt. We need to get back into Title I, and we need to have a safety net for cotton.
So it's imperative that we have a comprehensive cotton support that is on par with other commodities in the Title I of the next Farm Bill.
Given the tremendous reliance on our industry on exports of raw cotton and fiber and yarn, it is essential that the U.S. agriculture industry have a strong, well-funded public-private partnership to help leverage private resources to expand export markets and grow demand for U.S. agricultural products.
That cost share money we get through EQIP and CSP program, it's allowed us to make ends meet some years, and just encourage y'all to continue those programs in this next Farm Bill.
In mid-year, Nick McMicken, an Alabama cotton producer, testified on behalf of the Council before the Senate Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee's hearing.
Our industry will continue to pursue the best policy to provide growers with adequate protection that is consistent with the needs of our industry, while taking into account the full value of the cotton crop from both fiber and seed.
The Council conveyed disappointment that the fiscal year 17 Omnibus Appropriations Bill did not include cottonseed policy developed by the U.S. cotton industry in consultation with Congress. The Council and 82 other cotton interest organizations sent President Trump a letter requesting economic relief for U.S. cotton farming families through a Jennings cost share program. Another letter sent to the President and signed by 1,605 agricultural lenders, agribusinesses, and other rural businesses strongly recommended the administration use its discretionary authority to assist in this situation, and specifically authorize assistance similar to the program that assisted with the 2015 Jennings costs. The Council helped coordinate a tour along Texas's Gulf Coast for Agriculture Secretary Perdue and House Agriculture Committee Chairman Conaway to inspect damage to cotton and other operations from Hurricane Harvey. Perdue and Conaway also met with representatives from the Council and Lamesa cotton growers in West Texas. The pair toured area gin and cotton farms and held discussions with industry leaders on issues confronting cotton. Council Vice Chairman Ron Kraft emphasized the need for getting cotton back into the Farm Bill's Title I and for a Jennings cost share program for the 2016 crop. Early in the year, the Council, along with 15 other farm and commodity organizations, sent a letter to President Trump and Vice President Pence outlining the importance to U.S. agriculture of strong exports, open export markets, and positive trade promotion and agreements. The Council, along with other major agricultural and commodity organizations, met with Gary Cohn, Director of the President's National Economic Council, to discuss the importance of exports and trade policy to U.S. agriculture. The Council joined with more than 100 other agricultural organizations on a letter of support to all senators urging Robert Lighthizer timely confirmation as U.S. Trade Representative. The Council also joined with 88 other organizations participating in the U.S. Food and Agriculture Dialogue for Trade on a letter to all senators urging the timely confirmation of the Trump administration's nominee, Greg Dowd, as USTR's Chief Agricultural Negotiator. Lighthizer sent a letter to Congress providing notice of the administration's intent to renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement. The Council issued a statement in which Chairman Ronnie Lee said the NAFTA trading partners of Canada and Mexico were significant markets for U.S. food and fiber exports. Reese Langley, the Council's Vice President of Washington Operations, conveyed the U.S. cotton industry's key trade priorities and objectives to the administration's Trade Policy Staff Committee, which held 3 days of hearings to receive input on the NAFTA renegotiation. After the fourth round was concluded, the Council closely tracked the negotiations in an effort to protect this important export market access for U.S. cotton and cotton textile products, while seeking opportunities to close loopholes that currently exist for some non-NAFTA origin textile products to enter the United States. Also, a diverse agricultural coalition, including the Council and 85 other organizations, sent a letter to Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross expressing the significant market risks of a NAFTA withdrawal. The Council consistently conveyed the industry's positions and concerns to congressional members and key government agency officials regarding critical legislative, trade, regulatory, and environmental matters. Utilizing social media channels, including Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, podcast via YouTube and Instagram, the Council disseminated news and information from the Council, CCI, and the U.S. cotton industry. The Council continued as an in-kind supporter of America's Heartland, the award-winning national television series celebrating American agriculture. The series, in its 14th season and aired on public television and the RFD-TV cable and satellite channel, educates consumers about the origins of their food, fuel, and fiber. The Council continued to participate in Farm Policy Facts. The Council's newly designed website features feeds from the Council's social media channels, a member spotlight, enhanced audio and visual capabilities, as well as interactive maps and easier navigation tools. Other key communications vehicles such as our Cotton's Week newsletter, radio news lines, videos, and columns in various trade publications also were used to disseminate key information to Council members. Weekly RFD TV segments highlighting issues important to the industry continued to be produced. Video offerings also included monthly segments for Cotton International's web podcast series on various economic topics, several gin safety and handling videos, as well as various Ag Day segments on key news topics. Updates were made to key educational videos covering gin safety and contamination prevention. Throughout the year, the Council conveyed its views on various regulatory matters to EPA and Congress and advocated for sensible regulations and proper legislative oversight. The Council and many other agricultural stakeholders supported the Reducing Regulatory Burdens Act. The legislation, introduced by Representative Bob Gibbs, called for removing the duplicative and unnecessary Clean Water Act permit for spraying pesticides anywhere near water that was mandated by a 2009 Sixth Circuit Court decision. The House Agriculture Subcommittee approved the bill. The Council submitted comments to the U.S. Interior Department, which disagreed with the government's designation of the rusty-patched bumblebee to be on the endangered species list. The Council and National Cotton Ginners Association, along with 8 state and regional gin associations, filed comments with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on their guidance titled Classification of Activities as Harvesting, Packing, Holding, or Manufacturing Processing for Farms and Facilities. To help amplify this message, the Council and the National Cotton Ginners held a fact-finding tour in Alabama for several senior-level FDA officials. This enabled them to see cotton harvesting and ginning firsthand as the agency continued to address the ginning industry's concerns with the FSMA's animal feed rule. Alan McLaurin, a North Carolina cotton producer and member of EPA's Pesticide Program Dialogue Committee, covered issues affecting cotton producers during the PPDC's May meeting. The Council announced that it strongly supported EPA's decision to rescind the 2015 Clean Water Rule, more commonly known as WOTUS, or Waters of the U.S. Throughout 2017, the Council continued to work with others in the agricultural community to ensure EPA relied on credible scientific data and required all studies to be subject to the same requirements of product registrants. The Council and agricultural groups worked to build support for the reauthorization of the Pesticide Registration Improvement Act, which establishes fees for registration and re-registration of pesticides, as well as many other actions authorized under the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, known as FIFRA. EPA's ongoing review of pyrethroids was monitored by the Council, which filed comments to EPA's docket, citing the long history of these insecticides in integrated pest management programs for cotton, as well as their continued use in resistance management. EPA announced an agreement with Monsanto, BASF, and DuPont on measures to further minimize damage to neighboring crops from the use of dicamba formulations used to control weeds in genetically modified cotton and soybeans. New requirements for over-the-top use of dicamba would allow producers to make informed choices for seed purchases for the 2018 growing season. The Council continued to work closely with EPA on the goal of keeping dicamba labeled for use beyond the 2018 growing season. USDA notified the Council that the revised Joint Cotton Industry Bale Packaging Committee specifications for cotton bale packaging materials for packaging 2017 crop cotton were approved for Commodity Credit Corporation loan program purposes. In collaboration with the Cotton Foundation, the Council held an educational outreach program on the issue of bee health and neonicotinoids. EPA participants from the agency's pesticide office discussed neonicotinoid draft risk assessments with state university entomologists, cotton producers, and their partner beekeepers. University scientists presented several recent research studies showing the value of agriculture to bee health, the value of crop protection products to crops, the lack of evidence that neonicotinoids are affecting beehives, and the benefits of reducing foliar pesticide uses that may lead to other pest infestation issues. The Council announced that in compliance with a Council-adopted sustainability resolution, it created a Cotton USA Sustainability Task Force, which set goals to build upon the strong environmental gains already achieved over the past 30 years. Task Force Chairman Ted Snyder announced that among specific goals being pursued by 2025 are reducing by 13% the amount of land needed to produce a pound of cotton fiber, reducing soil loss by 50% in balance with new soil formation, increasing water use efficiency, or fiber per gallon, by 18%, reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 39%, increasing soil carbon in fields by 30%, and reducing energy to produce seed cotton and ginned lint by 15%. The Council continued its support of the Cotton Leads program. Among those joining the program's 470-plus partners were LL Bean, Hugo Boss, Walmart, and Gap Incorporated. Cotton Council International, or CCI, promotes U.S. cotton in more than 50 countries under its Cotton USA trademark. Buyers and sellers throughout the global textile supply chain conducted more than 2,100 meetings at Cotton USA events aimed at increasing exports of U.S. cotton. Participation in Cotton USA events led to reported sales of 54.5 million pounds of U.S. cotton, valued at approximately $38.1 million. Thanks to Cotton USA events, textile mill buyers said they would increase their purchases of U.S. cotton by an additional 240.8 million pounds of U.S. cotton during the next year, an estimated $175.6 million increase in sales. Ongoing education about why U.S. cotton is the cotton the world trusts was a critically important facet of CCI's promotional strategy. Cotton USA introduced a new website offering mills, manufacturers, brands, and retailers economic data, global supplier search capabilities, along with new developments in cotton sustainability, quality, transparency, and innovation. Cotton USA is focusing on new and innovative ideas to increase U.S. cotton exports. In 2017, Cotton USA launched its What's New in Cotton initiative with the objective of inspiring the target audience to think about the many opportunities in U.S. cotton and ultimately to specify more U.S. cotton in their products. At international trade shows, the U.S. cotton industry is represented by the strategic partnership of the Council, CCI, Cotton Incorporated, and SUPEMA, which work seamlessly throughout the supply chain to provide advanced cotton technology, strategies for improved cotton product performance, and sales-building expertise to mills, manufacturers, and retailers worldwide. All four organizations actively collaborate with the industry to ensure open access to the latest innovations that help ensure that cotton is a sustainable ingredient in tomorrow's garments and home textiles. The Cotton Foundation Board of Trustees approved funding for 12 general projects totaling $202,000. Approved projects covered research and educational efforts related to pest management, sustainability, contamination detection, agronomic practices, regulatory issue information gathering, and education. Some foundation member firms continued to provide grants over and above their dues to fund special projects. Among those are the Producer Information Exchange Program, Policy Education Program, Multi-Commodity Exchange Program, and the Emerging Leaders Program. Through the foundation, support also was maintained for vital council communications vehicles, including the Cotton's Week newsletter. The foundation's underpinning of the council's web server made it possible for the council to update the website and to continue posting valuable educational materials, including streaming video for industry members. Looking forward, we know that pending legislation, potential cottonseed designation, trade policy, environmental, economic, and regulatory issues will remain as priorities and challenges for this industry. Council staff and leadership will work together to actively manage the many issues that face the industry in the months to come. Strong industry participation in the organization and politically active industry leaders will continue to be needed to assure future success for U.S. cotton. With the structure in place and the visionary leadership being so willing to assist, the industry is well positioned for the future.